Hello, students. If you've taken mathematics classes, you'll probably know that everything is done in terms of sets. Sets are basically the primitive building blocks for everything. If you're talking about, just the positive integers, well, that's a set. It's a set of numbers, but it's a set. If you're talking about the integers, that's a set. The reals are a set. The rationals are a set. The complex numbers are a set. Everything we do involves sets. As a matter of fact, we even talk about the solution set to an equation, right? We have an equation like, I don't know, x squared is equal to 4. That's a set. The answer to that is a set. And what would that answer be? How would we write that? If we weren't doing Python, we're just doing math now. How would we write the set of answers to that? Well, we could write it like this, right? You use these curly brackets and we put in the numbers inside, and that's our set. And if I hit enter, I see that Python, hey, it recognized that. Okay, well, let's see if Python knows that this is a set. And it actually does. It's a set. Okay, excellent. So Python knows that it's a set. Uh, what can we do to a set in Python? Well, we already know how to answer that question. I can either type this, direct set, or I could have put the actual set in here. If I were to do this and put this here, it would have done the same exact thing. It would give me the directory for a set because it would recognize that that's a set. Okay, and this is going to tell me all sorts of things that we can do with sets. Like we recognize that we could take the length of a tuple in the last section. This is telling me that I can actually take the length of a set. And let's try that. Let's try the length of minus 2 and 2. And that's 2. And of course, this has nothing to do with the elements in this set, right? If I were to take the length of the set, I don't know, 45, 46, that would also be a length 2 set because it's a set with 2 items in it. Okay. There's some other stuff that's tempting to play with here. I mean, we can talk about containment, right? We can see if something's in a set. For instance, let me ask, is 0 in the set negative 2, 2? And this would tell me no, 0 is not. This is a false statement that 0 is in this set. Okay, well, what happens if I want to check if 0 is in this set? 0, minus 1, 1, 2, minus 2, 3, minus 3. And 0 is in that set. So this is a nice little set. Let's actually take a look at the length one more time. Boom, it's a set with 7 objects. And let me just type that in, and you'll notice something. The order changed. That is because in mathematics, order of elements in a set does not matter. If I were to take the set minus 2, 2, or if I were to take the set 2 minus 2, these would be the exact same set. And in Python, the same thing is true, which is very convenient. These sets are working just like they do in math because they've been constructed to work like sets do in math. So sets ignore orders, and when you type in a set like this, you're not necessarily going to get it back out in the same order that you typed it because Python doesn't care about the order. It doesn't keep track of the order, or it doesn't try to keep track of the order. So you might get something that's in a different order anytime that you deal with a set in Python. Okay. So we've seen a couple things that we could do to sets. One thing that's not on there is indexing a set. So like, let's say I have this set, and let's give it to Python in the order that it gave it back to me. And let's say I want to grab the second element of our set. Well, you see, in mathematics, there is no second element in a set, right? It's not a sequence, right? If you have a sequence, we keep track of where things are, but the position in a set doesn't matter. So what we get here is an error, but it's a very clear error. Look, it says set object is not subscriptable. So what it's telling us is that this thing set is an object. We know everything in Python is an object, and that we can't use subscripts with sets. And this is actually a good thing because this set and this set up here are the same set. So if I wanted to go and find element number 2, which is really the third element, It depends on how I write it. 0, 1, 2, I have 1. Minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, I have minus 1, right? So because that depends on order, we don't want to be able to use subscripts with sets. This is a good thing. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about sets. We see there's many more things, and there absolutely are. We could do intersections and all sorts of fancy things. But before I get to anything else with sets, I want to talk about something that you have in mathematics called set builder notation, which also is going to translate over to Python in a really wonderful way.